Yeah, I play that song when I'm mad because things went wrong at City Hall today. Unfortunately, we got sold out by Katy Tang. What happened was we went. Shona may or may not call in. She's too angry. She's sitting in Jane Kim's office. When I left her, she was sitting in Jane Kim's office. I had to run down to the studio because what happened was we were at the Land Use Committee, and these are the sort of people that show up there. The Land Use Committee, they show up and give public comment. Here they are. Let me show you. There's a lot of them, and they don't like cannabis. They're a hate group, actually. They're considered a hate group, and they were lined up all the way down the hall. This was last time I went to City Hall. This is my 4th meeting in a month that I've gone to City Hall to try to fight for regulations so that we can give away cannabis to poor people and that dispensaries can open. So they put a moratorium on dispensaries, it's just, and all these people just showed up and gave public comment. It takes hours and hours. You got to sit and listen to each one of them talk for 2 minutes about, spewing hate for cannabis, basically. So they don't want any cannabis dispensaries in the Sunset District, which is where Katy Tang is the supervisor, and they're just fighting tooth and nail, and in a way they won today, and they're a hate group, so the hate won today at City Hall. No, I'm not happy about it, and we're going to still fight it. We have till Monday to sort them out. Shown as if I wasn't doing this show, I'd be sitting in Jane Kim's office right now. So, the board keeps going out. Now, okay, I hope the board stays lit. Okay, so what happened was Malia Cohen had some amendments to regulate the cannabis businesses and to codify equity programs and permits for people of color who have a police record. They could actually work in the industry and not worry that they have a police record to be excluded from working for the cannabis industry. So that happened. I'm trying not to be depressed. Okay, so we're going to sort them out Monday. I hope you can show up at City Hall Monday morning. Check out room 250 is where it's going to be. Room 250. Hope you can hear me. And give your public comment. Support patients. Support new dispensaries, because these don't let them win. Don't let hate win. So see what they have the limits on how you must be a 5-year San Francisco resident in order to get your permit here, and you had to be between 2009 and some other weird year. Well, it was like it completely ignored the fact that maybe the person grew up in the 70s here and got priced out at some point. So they call it the equity incubator, and so that's on the land use planning and land use committee, and they probably finished it, but you can watch it on the sfgov.org website under the planning commission. So that was, we feel like we were just kicked in the stomach. Shona and I were just see, the thing is, we worked for Jane Kim, and now she just went along with Katy Tang, and I think they're just trying to appease these people. They're trying to appease them. Wonderful. So, yeah, we're in it we have to punch our way out of a corner here. And see, it was the equity program. This is what it was. The equity program proposed to ensure San Francisco permits. And it's equity because they're calling it recreational. I told them at City Hall, I said, okay, I'll go along with the joke, but there's really no such thing as recreational. I'll say it over and over and over and over and over again. There's no such thing as recreational cannabis. If all use is medicinal, 1 out of 2 people is going to get Alzheimer's, and 1 out of 2 gets cancer. 1 out of 3, maybe. I don't know what. And So if cannabis prevents those things, why are we calling it recreational? That's what I don't know. And it has, yeah, I smoked too much weed and I smoked myself down, so I'm not even high anymore. I smoked so much of it. So anyway, and it's good weed too. But anyway, it doesn't have a cumulative effect. It's just, oh, all these rules they're making by people who don't even smoke the herb. They're making all sorts of rules about it. So they didn't, just because they understand doesn't mean they care. You can say that several ways. Just because they don't understand doesn't mean they care. Just because they don't care doesn't mean they don't understand. There's a bunch of ways to say that, at least 4 or 5. So we have to occupy our herb, And by the way, it's $80 an ounce in Berkeley off the streets, which, no, I didn't say that. No. So I took a bunch of notes. They were having retail and non-retail conversion for recreational, 300-foot buffer between MCDs. So that means that, say there's, how they have Spark over on Mission. It's a dispensary. And then there's another dispensary called Relief Center, which is the one I go to. I boycott Spark. Please boycott Spark, by the way. And I go to, Relief is all right. I don't know if they're 300 feet apart, but that's what I'm talking about. They don't want to have two next door to each other. So I got somebody that keeps texting me. Okay, so we want to maintain the present MCDs, and they want to convert them to recreational and medical in January. Now, I don't know if I'm for or against that, really, I can't say. But here's a Weed for Warriors project. Here's what they've got to say. Okay. The sick and disabled community was abandoned by cannabis policy organizations for the benefit of their donor class. 3/4 of California will be dry counties. So we ask, what about access for the sick and disabled? Is the black market and pharma their only option so the trust fund class can profit? And by trust fund, we're talking about the money trail and the Drug Policy Alliance money trail leading right to the Federal Reserve Bank, the Republicans, petrochemicals, and Big Pharma, and Monsanto, who of course, they don't want us to even have seeds for pot anymore. They want to make sure that, the seeds we do get won't reproduce more. They're just dead seeds, kind of like the watermelons. The old watermelons, you could grow more watermelons from the seeds, but you can't now, unless you find one of those non-GMO watermelons. So there's that. And yeah, and I don't mind picking the seeds out of watermelons, and I don't mind picking the seeds out of my pot. And I like the brickweed better. It was far more psychoactive. My mom used to know I was high. Now she can't tell. So anyway, and you'd only know this if you're over 50 or over 55. People know, because after they sprayed the cannabis with paraquat in I guess it was 1976. The DEA went to Mexico to spray all the cannabis with paraquat. The really good weed. They knew what, and that weed was nice too. It really, you didn't need much of it, and it was $10 a lid. And I knew we had it good at the time. I knew that was going to change, and it did. It was just my feeling, and I was right. So, and on state news here, the California, by the way, while I'm looking at it, a California judge said no to rescheduling. So that's good, actually, because we want to deschedule. When they say reschedule, no, you want to deschedule. What we want is to regulate like lettuce, let us grow in peace. So, and those are some old notes. And then, so through the end of October 30th, 36 of the state's 58 counties had announced cannabis bans, according to the California City and County Regulation Watch, a nonprofit grassroots group tracking myriad local marijuana regulations. While large population hubs in San Diego, the Los Angeles Basin, and San Francisco Bay Area will likely not be significantly affected by local bans, Schaefer estimated that at least 75% of California's landmass is currently dry, with dry counties. They're talking about dry and the way liquor, you know, how they had dry states or dry counties for liquor. Like, I think Kansas is more or less a dry state. Yeah, there isn't any alcohol, or very little. You have to go to a state store on every fourth blue moon on the 17th Sunday, you know, to get any. So they make it really tough. So it's Jim Crow. Let's call it what it is. This is Jim Crow, and I'm sorry to say that dear Jane Kim, I hope she's not really wanting to do this, but Shona was awfully mad when she was in her office, and I was trying to get her to see what Jane Kim does. So by the time this show airs, I do this show next time, Jane Kim, we will have had some dialogue with her or Bobby Lopez. I'd like to actually make an appointment with Jane Kim. I did over Prop 64, and she withdrew her support for Prop 64. She didn't say no, but she didn't support it anymore either. Because 4 out of 5 voters I spoke to about Prop 64 said, okay, I won't. It took me 30 seconds tops to explain. Some people it took a couple of minutes. But most people it took 30 seconds when I told them there was more jail than there was before. So I'm going to say this and say this and say this. I told the Board of Supervisors, you cannot just expect me to participate in a market where 80% of the cannabis taxes goes to the police, where they even call it recreational to begin with, because, like I said, it prevents disease. So why wait till we're sick? You want to be sick before you bother doing something about it? I don't. So yeah, there's that. So what else do we have here? Oh yeah. Yeah, we had fears mount for California medical marijuana patients over cannabis deserts. There's cannabis deserts. Like parts of Contra Costa County don't allow it. So there's even Oakland was down to 4 dispensaries back in the 90s. I don't know what they're doing now. I haven't been to a dispensary in Oakland in quite a while. But oh, and if you want to get in touch with me, please use Twitter. I appreciate it. You know what I've been getting a lot, by the way, is I'm getting a lot of Russian followers. I was getting last time. I was getting a lot of them. And the Russian followers and on Twitter. And then now I'm getting Turkish followers on Twitter this year. So maybe they're the next ones to mess with us. Who knows? I don't have anything against the Turkish people. So I hope they really just follow me because they like me. You know, like my politics, instead of following me because they're trolling. I don't know if they're trolls or bots, but help me figure it out. It's crazy. Oh, yeah. So, California is on the verge of creating a cannabis market worth an estimated $7 billion by 2025. $7 billion. And cannabis advocates are sounding the alarm that legalization is having the unintended consequence of cutting off scores of patients from their medicine. It will. Right now, a lot of people have to travel all the way to Daly City. By Daly City, there's a really nice dispensary. I like it a lot. It's called Cookies. It's a great dispensary. They're not greedy, and the stuff they sell is, you know, it's the real strain, what they say. I'm not plugging for them. They're not giving me anything for saying this. I'm just saying this as a helpful patient to patient or patient to friend, whatever. Yeah, they treat people right there. So that, you know, I have to travel all the way to Daly City to get treated right. But then otherwise I just go to Relief. They're pretty good too. And so it legalized adult use in starting January 1st. So January 1st, 2 months away. And I don't know how they're going to enact all these regulations. So Monday is the day. So join us at City Hall on Monday. We need you there. We need voices, because otherwise we have to stare these people down. Yeah, them. We start to feel like him. Sometimes I feel like him. You know, don't make us feel like him. You know, he's got the brains not to stage dive, like, you know, that's how it feels. So I feel betrayed. I hope Jane Kim didn't betray us today, but I can't say for sure. But then it's these people, the haters. Remember them. They wear white hats, and that was like half of them. They stretched all the way forward. It was just. I don't want to hate them. I just don't. I think they're just misguided folks. I don't think they mean us harm. I think they mean well, but it's just they buy into this brainwashing stuff. Same reason people voted for Trump, you know. This brainwashing. They're brainwashed, and even a lot of the Bernie voters voted for him. So, yeah. They burned 12% to be exact. So, if 12% of Bernie voters and Bernie-crats actually endorsed Prop 64 also, without reading it, and I went to their meeting and I rubbed their nose in it. Yeah, I sure did. And I've been rubbing their noses in it. And so I rubbed the Milk Club's nose in it. I rubbed, well, maybe the Democratic Party a little bit, but, you know, we have to keep on them. You know, because do you have money to give them, you know, for their luxury, whatever? No. The big D Democrats. There's way too many large D Democrats that are going to get us more Republicans, which is kind of, you know, so you got to worry about the corporate Democrats, and there's a lot of them too, so just know that. And so let's see, what else have we got? Oh yeah, don't make now. Oh, here. How about these Old Norse words? It would be hard to celebrate Halloween without them. Here they are. Strange, skull, ugly, knife, dagger, odd, berserk, club, ransack, slaughter, gun, hell, bug, wing, rotten, scare, crawl, hit, race, snub, scrape, happy, hammer, and stagger. Okay, those are all Norse words, and it's an inspiration, you know. Halloween, we just had Halloween, Happy Souls Day. I'd like to remind you to adopt a shelter pet. It's one of the best things I ever did. And I plan to adopt another one. And watch Psychic Frank's show, please. He can sort out your aura. He sure helped me a lot. Helped me get over a lot of anger issues I have, and I appreciate his outlook on everything. So I wanted to give you, actually I've got another minute left. Let's do this. Now we have that meeting, like I said, next week. Be at City Hall Monday. Gosh, I wish I I wish it was further in the future, but it's not. It's Monday. So just go to the clerk's office, and they'll tell you where the cannabis meetings will be. The clerk's office is on the second floor near the Board of Supervisors, just down the hall. Just ask for the office of the clerk, and they'll tell you, and just tell them you're looking for cannabis, which board is handling cannabis issues, it's probably room 250. Room 250 is the room with the fancy ceiling where the Board of Supervisors have met for about 100 years. It's a really grand, fancy room, but I think the ceiling is a little bit too high today because they did some really lowbrow things to us. So please be mad, because I'm trying to be mad for as many people as I can. But if this goes through, we won't really have diversity. We won't have a lot of dispensaries anymore. We'll just have a couple of white boys making money. So choose your who you give your money to wisely. That's what I'm saying. So with that, yes, please remember, adopt a shelter pet and watch Psychic Frank. And I appreciate your time. Cheers.
With sounds out for a price, millions watch for years until we die. Every gender, every race, class is what you fit into, yeah. You thought you were above the problems that you thought you never had. Slave nation. Slave nation. Slave nation. Slave nation.